All right, we are live. We are live. And Paula, welcome to my live stream. Welcome. I'm trying to get a fire going. And hold on, let me I called this live from Colorado, but I have my Wichita State hoodie on. But I got to get the fire going. I don't have any newspaper. So I'm using this. It's like, it was from my painting. It's sort of this nice, it burns pretty easily here. How's everyone doing? Paula, how are you doing with the pandemic? How are you doing? I'm getting the fire going, everyone. Thank you for your patience. But let's do a live stream. I'm kind of bored. I'm bored and I'm going a little crazy. I'm going a little crazy being home. And all right, let me throw this in here like that. Actually, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw another block. Maybe this one. I'm going to throw this block of wood. This should really get it. Let's see. I'm hoping that'll burn. Here, I'm going to move this couch a little bit this way. It's my live stream, but I'm all disorganized. Hey, Mike. Hey, Maelstrom. Hey, by the way, it is, there's still some light. It's 7:20 and there's a little bit of light. You can see the sky out there. Isn't that lovely? It's very lovely. So it's not quite dark, and I just thought I'd do a live stream. And let me see. Will that work? There we go. That kind of works. All right. So how's everyone? Seriously, my plan is to tell more Bike Across America stories, and to try to be inspiring, try to encourage people. And to be honest, I need encouragement myself. I'm kind of going crazy, bored. Hey, Hans from Germany. Yeah, hey, Hans. How's everyone doing? Welcome to my live stream. This video has been brought to you by, I do have some sponsors. My toy snake. Right here, I got my toy snake. Another sponsor is my can of Lysol. Right there, my can of Lysol. So there you go. Lysol disinfectant. Here, I'm going to put some on. So I'm spraying my hands. I don't even know if this works. I think it works to spray it on your hands, but I think it's more for putting it on surfaces. So anyway, how's everyone doing? Maelstrom, what's going on in Australia? Is your country going through this pandemic as well? It's kind of, So, and then also I have more sponsors. This video is also brought to you by Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument. When you're in the mood for a different kind of cactus, go to Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument. And then lastly, this video has been brought to you by my book, Under a Triumphant Sky, a Bike Across America story. It's the story of my first Bike Across America trip. So, all right, how do I get this? I'm trying to get it so you can see the fire and you can see me. And there's like, I actually need to put something, I need a framed picture back there, but And I got it. I got the pictures. I just haven't gotten around to putting stuff on the walls for here. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Wind Mechanic, how are you? Hey, Wind Mechanic. Yes. All right. So seriously, how's everyone doing? Like, I really do. I do want to have whatever. I know some of this is on me to try to entertain, but at the same time, I kind of want to know, how are people doing? Are you going crazy? Are you staying busy? How's your work situation? You know what I mean? How's everyone doing? Yes, Paula, first of all, you do need to read my book. All right, here's the commercial. So I wrote, this is the story of I've biked across America 3 times. And this is the story of my first trip in 2008. So, and here, I'm going to share a link to it. So you can buy it in Kindle format, or you can buy a print. You can buy it in a print format. And by the way, if you don't want to spend the money for a new book, there are so many used books where you can buy it for really cheap. It's a little depressing when you're an author, and then all of a sudden there's all these used copies that are floating around, and there's some bookstore, Yeah, Paula. Yeah, and Jeff, I do have a reasonably good blaze going. It's definitely going, and I plan to go for a while here. So I actually, it's giving me enough warmth right now. One thing I've noticed with these fires is sometimes I actually don't need heat. I just like looking at the flame and how pretty it is. And then there's other times where I want the heat and I don't really care about the flame, how pretty it looks. So anyway, should I put the toy snake? That wouldn't be good. This is like some kind of rubber. So by the way, I'm not going to play a ton of Not Too Shabbies, but I do want to play the toy snake, because that one does seem to be a popular one. And here it is.
It's a toy snake. Not too shabby!
So there you go. Wind Mechanic, how are things going for you in Wyoming? And I really, by the way, and then everybody else, like, I don't want to, like, everybody, let me know how you're doing. What are you doing? By the way, to the people, to Hans in Germany, what time is it in Germany? Isn't it like, if it's 7:25, it's 7 hours to the England. Is it 3:25 in the morning in Germany? So, I love the smell of like paper in a book. All right. So, Jeff, how are you doing? I don't know what stories to tell. I really just thought I would. Actually, I want to tell the story probably with this book, Under a Triumphant Sky. It's the story of my first Bike Across America trip. Probably the biggest thing was my bicycle was stolen in Phoenix, Arizona. It was the 8th day of my trip. And there's a whole chapter, The Bike is Stolen. You see the cute little bicycle up there on the top? So, yeah, roommate. Well, okay, that's great. I hope this live stream, I mean, I'm not a celebrity and I'm not I'll try to entertain. And by the way, it doesn't see the flame. It's really interesting because there's more burning. Do you see how it's there's like a deep orange beneath that log. So it's got a good foundation for a fire. It doesn't look like it's that crazy, but that's plenty right there. So anyway, Actually, I might even. I don't know. Wait, we'll see if I take off my. It's getting a little warm in here. Does anyone want to hear the story of my bike being stolen? That first, see, the crazy thing about this first trip was it was my first time going, and it just seemed like I had a broken derailleur on day 3 outside of Blythe, California, and I was stuck there. Then I get to Phoenix and my bike gets stolen. And then I buy a new bike, which is actually right over there. See the bike? All right. And I buy that bike, and then I had problems with the very first day on day 10. I think it was day 10. I had problems with flat tires, and then I looped the chain, and everything was just going crazy. And I remember I was like, I'm having all these problems, and it's just rare that I have all these, you know what I mean? So anyway, but I want to, let's see. First of all, let me read some of these chats messages here. Hans, your English is fine. And Hans, you've been to Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument? You've been there? Nice, man. So when did you, obviously you're German, right? You're a German national. When did you come visit America? What time of year did you visit Organ Pipe? I'm just curious because in the summer, it's really hot down there. And I was in Organ Pipe Monument in January. I was down there. Actually, I was down there like the first few days of the new year. So anyway, really, for you guys. Oh, 1995. Wow. Okay, so it's been some time. Okay. Seriously, I highly recommend Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument. Go visit. So it's a good place, and it's got here. I'm gonna play a not too shabby of an organ pipe cactus. Let's see here. And then I'll get to my bike story. I don't even know if anybody cares, but come on. I hate when my phone doesn't want to. Okay, there it is. I'm pretty sure I've done a not too shabby of an organ pipe cactus. Yeah, actually I've done a few. Here's one.
It's an organ pipe cactus. Not too shabby.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what, Han? Yeah, they're building because it's right on the Mexico border. So they are building a wall, or they're building a fencing right now. That's it's controversial. And it's an environmental eyesore. It's controversial. I understand why some people want to build it, but then also I see a lot of negative drawbacks, and it's a dilemma. But but organ pipe, it's a really beautiful area. So here's one more organ pipe cactus. I'm going to play one more here. Let's see here. Well, here's the sign.
It's Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument. Not too shabby.
Oh, yeah. Hans, all right, here's Hans. Go share your video. After this live stream is over, go onto my live stream, or maybe you can do it during it. Share your video in the comment section, the official comment section. And then I know for a fact I'll get notified and I'll watch your video of Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument. But seriously, if we could just talk about Arizona, if you want, because this is a beautiful. Here's a picture of the organ pipe. I guess it looks. I don't really know what organ. I mean, I know what an organ pipe looks like, and usually there's many of them. But anyway, that's an organ pipe cactus. So Is my finger? There it is. Yeah. So Maelstrom, you have Organ Pipe National Park in Australia, but it's not, but it's just rocks? That's weird. I'm going to look that up. Organ Pipe National Park. That's really weird. Let's see. In Australia. Wait. I'm going to Google it. Organ Pipe National Park, Australia. Let's see here. Oh, wow. You ain't kidding me. Wow. That's in Australia. By the way, I got to take this. It's getting hot in here. With this heat, with this fire, it doesn't look that intense, but it is warm. It is warm and it is toasty in here. But here, look, everyone. This is Organ Pipe National Park in Australia. Wow, they're sort of like these rocks that have this vertical look. No kidding. Wow. Yeah, this is really neat. By the way, I'm eating canned peaches. Yellow cling sliced peaches. So, oh my gosh, it's getting hot in here. Woo! Oh my gosh. Okay. So, does anybody want to hear my story of how my bike was stolen? I don't know. Like, I mean, I just thought I'd try to tell inspiring stories. So, here, I want to share this quote. There's a quote here. At the top of every chapter, I tried to find a interesting or inspiring quote, something thoughtful. And for chapter 6, the bike is stolen. Here's what it says. It says, one of the greatest titles we can have is old friend. We never appreciate how important old friends are until we are older. The problem is we need to start our old friendships when we are young. Today is the day to invest in those people we hope will call us old friend in the years to come. Hey, Wendy. Wendy, I read a quote from my book, Under a Triumphant Sky, a Bike Across America story. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this. This will be a little better, I think. It'll be a little better. It's a little dark, but anyway, so by the way, I am going to just share the link to my book just in case anybody wants to pick it up. And I just shared an Amazon link in the chat section, but yeah, do you want to hear the story of how my bike? I'll just tell you the story. So it was my first Bike Across America trip. All right. And where's the picture section here? All right. So my first bike trip, I started in San Diego, and there was my bike. It was red. It's black and white, but it was a bright red bike, and I had a red jersey on. Okay. And the short story is I had some troubles with the derailleur breaking, but eventually I got to Phoenix. I biked from San Diego to Phoenix, and it took me 7 days. And on the 8th day, I was biking into the whole Phoenix metro area. And here's the crazy thing. So I didn't take a lot of selfies with me and the bike. But that morning, I was it was early February. It was February 8th, 2008. and I was riding, and I stopped. I didn't do this that much, but I stopped. I put my camera on a guardrail post, and I turned it, and I did a selfie, or with the timer, and I got a picture of me with my bike. And I was riding into Phoenix, and Phoenix is a massive, sprawling area. I mean, if you know Denver, I don't know how. I know Wendy's in Denver. Jeff is in Denver too, but Phoenix is like twice the landmass of Denver, maybe even more. Anyway, I'm riding into Phoenix, and long story made short, I was eating at a Taco Bell, but not in the greatest neighborhood. And I finished riding, and so then I was eating lunch, and I started to ride off from the Taco Bell, and there was a CVS pharmacy nearby. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to stop inside the CVS and buy a couple of things. I think I wanted to buy razors and a couple other things. So I went in there, and I locked the bike in front of the CVS. All right. So I went in there for a few minutes, came back out, and the bike was there. And then the Taco Bell was like 100 yards. It was the CVS was adjacent to the Taco Bell. So I said, you know what? I'm going to ride another 15, 20 miles. I'm just going to go east, having a good ride. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to run to the Taco Bell and use the bathroom just in case, So I did that, and I left the bike tied with the cable lock in front of the CVS. And I'm telling you, I walked to went to the Taco Bell, went to the bathroom. I wasn't in the bathroom for very long. It was kind of a false alarm. All right, we'll just put it that way. And I came back out, and I could see this, where I put my bike. And all of a sudden I'm walking there, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't see my bike. So I start jogging, and I'm like, wait a minute, my bike's not there. Somebody had stolen my bike. So here's the crazy thing. Phil, now I shared that quote about good, old friends. The bike is stolen here. This quote, because Phil said, I remember Phil was working a lot. He just moved down to Phoenix. He still lives down there, but Phil was like, I'm working a lot, but wherever you are in the evening, I'll do my best to drive and find you. Whatever motel you're in, I'll find you. All right. So I was like, okay, and I don't know that I kept in touch with Phil that well that day or the day before. Maybe I texted him. I don't remember anymore. But I remember I texted him when the bike was stolen. And I was like, Phil, my bike was stolen. I'm at this Taco Bell at this street and this street. And he was like, oh my gosh, you're only maybe a mile away. I eat at that Taco Bell sometimes. So he was stunned. And with it being such a huge city, it was not, it was one of those things where he thought, okay, maybe this isn't a coincidence, because within 10 minutes, he showed up with his truck. He was like, I can't believe it. Now everything on the bike was stolen. The only thing I had was what I was wearing. And then I had in my pocket, the pocket in my cycling jersey in the back. I had my essentials, my wallet, my phone, and my camera with my precious pictures. So honestly, that's all I really needed. Everything else was stolen. All my extra clothing, my bike tools, the bike itself, my phone charger, my bag of deodorant, toothpaste, conditioner, my comb for my hair, all that kind of stuff. All that was stolen. So anyway, the story is Phil was so close by. And by the way, I did make a police report. And by the way, you can read all this in my book. But let me see here. Wait, where are the pictures? I took a picture. Oh, wait a minute. I had a picture of the cop. I didn't put it in my book, but there was a really nice police officer that took my report right there in the CVS parking lot. And it turned out that the manager, when I was in the bathroom at the Taco Bell, the manager was pulling in and he saw someone riding away with my bright red bike. And he thought to himself, he told me, he said, that's a really bright, it's a nice looking red bike. But he didn't think anything of it because this guy was just riding a bike and he didn't know it was just stolen. So by the time I talked to them, it had been 20, 30 minutes, or I don't know how long, but so my bike was stolen. So I got a picture of the police officer and he stood proudly in front of his cruiser. And he told me, because my bike had those my bike had the compartments in the back, like 2 panniers and then a trunk box on the top. He was like, with that kind of bike, that's a good bike to transport drugs because you can kind of keep stuff hidden in the back of the bike, So anyway, so there you go. My old bike may have become an accessory to drug dealing. So anyway, that's what happened. So anyway, the short story is, what did I do? It was a long time ago. But Phil, my good friend, he actually drove me to a Walmart and I bought a whole bunch of new stuff. And then I had to walk like 3/4 of a mile to this Motel 6. And here was let's see, I think I got the woman. Yeah, I got the woman, the woman who's working behind the counter at the Motel 6 right there. So we kept in touch for a little while. And she said that I inspired her to never quit. And because at first I had a photo journal and I don't know when I contacted her, but she was like, I remember you. I definitely remember you. And she saw the picture that I had. And anyway, it was a really sweet thing. So I have no idea where this woman is now. And I've stayed at that Motel 6. And she's not been there. And it's been now 12 years. So anyway, and then here's a picture of me and Phil. So by the way, Phil really was the good friend of that day, because Phil, not only was it an amazing coincidence that he was so close to me and he could pick me up, take me to Walmart, but then that next morning, his mom was a little older, wasn't driving as much. She let me use her car. I think it was a Ford Taurus. It was an older Ford Taurus. It was fine. And so I had that day to go drive around, to go to bike shops and to buy a new bike. And the short story is I actually had a friend, my friend Mark in Minnesota, who he pretty much bought me a new bike. He was very generous. So I bought a new bike. And but I remember the night my bike was stolen, Phil came by, this Phil, and we were sitting in my motel room just talking about what happened. And all of a sudden the phone rings, or my cell phone rang. And it was the same police officer that took my report. So at first I was like, hi, Sergeant Smith. His name was Steve Smith, I think his name was, Sergeant Smith. And I was like, hey, Sergeant, and all of a sudden I got excited, like, maybe they found my bike. And Phil was like, they found your bike. Maybe they found your bike. I was getting a little excited, like, okay, what do you have to say? He was like, I need a couple more, I need your address and your whatever else to finish my paperwork. And he was like, no, we didn't find your bike, So I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, the good news is I did buy a new bike. And here it was the next day. It was brand new. It was a black bike with red and white streaks. And that was it, brand new. February 2008. Right there. I still have the bike. It was bought in 2008. So there's the bike right there. for my book, I would finish the trip with this bike. I'd go from Phoenix to the Georgia coast, and then I'd go 2 more times. I'd bike across America in 2011 and 2017. And this guy right here. So good little bike there. And it is kind of old now. You know, in car years, it'd be an old car now, or you know what I mean? But anyway, I haven't gotten around to buying a new bike. So that's the story. And you'll just have to read more to see what happens, because the first day I was out. So my bike was stolen on day 8. When you bike across America, you count the days. And on day 8, my bike was stolen. Day 9, I had Phil's mom's car, and I bought a new bike in Phoenix. And then day 10, I mean, I was ready to go. I mean, you know, there's no point hanging around. I had a new bike. And then anyway, if you read, I had all these problems on day 10 with my brand new bike right there when it was brand new. And I won't even, anyway, I had all these problems, and you can read all about it in Under a Triumphant Sky. And I had this crazy meltdown in the desert, and I was mad and upset, and then I wanted to quit. And I could have quit. But anyway, and then I remember I told this in my last live stream, and I'll say it again, because I didn't quit, and I was so proud of myself. I hung in there. I actually learned a lesson, because I'm against quitting. I'm not much of a quitter. I don't think I'm that much of a quitter in most things in my life. And so I biked across America 3 times, and I was successful all 3 trips. And occasionally I'd mentor somebody, or somebody would ask for advice. They'd email me, and I would try to encourage them. But sometimes people would quit, and I would always be disappointed and kind of mad at them, or I'd kind of judge them, you know, for quitting, or, you know, I would just say, oh, that's lame. I wouldn't say that to their face. But anyway, long story short, I kind of judged them. And then in 2019, I tried to go on my 4th bike across America trip. This was late February 2019. And on the 3rd day, I quit. I only biked 90 miles in. Started in Newport Beach, California. I biked about 90 miles to, I was going towards Palm Springs. I only made it to Beaumont. Anyway, I quit. And it was humbling. And I was like, anyway, the main story is I've just learned, try not to judge people. I'd probably still judge people too much, but at least with quitting, now I've got a built-in humility where I'm thinking, man, now I'm scared, because I still kind of want to bike across America a 4th time. And I'm thinking about it. I was open to maybe doing it in 2020. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Jessica Lunt. Hey, Jess. How are you? So anyway, that's just my little story. But the inspiring part is there's so much, like I will say this about not quitting. I remember I wanted to quit because I was in Phoenix. I bought this new bike. I had all these problems. And Phil right there. I'll always remember Phil. I mean, I was younger. I was less patient. And I was telling him, I'm not sure I want to keep going. This is crazy. I keep having problems, broken derailleur, flat tires, a loop chain, a stolen bicycle. And he just said, you can't make the decision right now. You're too tired. You're exhausted. You've been out in the sun. He said, you need to sleep on it, get some rest, and then just make your decision in the morning. And that was the best advice he gave me. because that's exactly what I needed to do. Is kind of just sleep it off, see how you feel in the morning, and even to some extent, it's okay to take even a second day off and think about it. So anyway, that next morning I woke up and I was I was in a better mood, and I was like, all right, let's do this again. So yeah, no, I'm doing well. I'm doing well, Jessica. I work from home as a mental health therapist anyway. So like this isn't that much different for me, but I'm gonna everyone, Jessica in my chat section, her husband is in a Not Too Shabby. I think Thomas is in one. Let's see. Thomas. Oh, I know one. There's an early one. Here's Jessica. Here's Tom. This was 2014.
I'm hiking with Mike and Tom. Not too shabby.
Wow. Super Sailing. Do I play any video games? Let me see. No, I don't, but I had a coworker that was playing a golf video game.
It's a golf video game. Not too shabby.
What do you think of that? So I don't really play, but I have other types of games. Like here's an antique basketball game.
It's an antique basketball game. Not too shabby.
Hey, Bear Paws. Hey, Bear Paws. Yeah, I have everyone. I got the fire going. I got a nice fire going tonight. I'll give you a close-up look at it. The flame doesn't look that exciting, but it's warm enough for me. So, isn't that nice? It's lovely. Here you go. You can see the fire. So, Mark, Wind Mechanic, yes. Here, I'll play you. Let's see. Let me see. The title. Mark. That's right. It was in Trinidad. Mark, do you remember the title? It was the Christmas parade. All right, let's see if I can find. All right, Mark, I don't know if you're in this Not Too Shabby or if you're just like you're watching it, but here's the one you're talking about.
It's afloat with the abominable snowman. Not too shabby.
There you go. That was it. More. By the way, while I got my phone out, are there other Not Too Shabbies? Anybody wants to see? By the way, on my third, I've biked across America 3 times. On my third trip in 2017, I have a compilation. It took me 53 days to do my trip. And I made, I think, 122 Not Too Shabbies. And I've stitched them all together on a 17-minute video. Biking across America was Not Too Shabby.
Trumpers, fruit, and honey.
And like, they just...
Not too shabby.
I just play them in
It's a ravioli dinner.
I just play them in chronological order.
Not too shabby. It's Andrews County Adult Probation. Not too shabby. There's a seismic crew ahead. Not too shabby. It's roadkill. Not too shabby.
Bill hates that. Bill Rogan hates that one.
It's a bicycle shop. Not too shabby.
So anyway, you can watch the whole thing if you want, but I stitched together all the not too shabbies. Hey, Super Sailing. Yes, it was your fun house. Yes. Super Sailing. I love Funhouse. I love all the Funhouse people. So they're awesome. And I still make not too shabbies to this very day. And in fact, I made a very relevant not too shabby with this pandemic. And I know it's upsetting. Like, I want to be anyway, I'm struggling, I think, with everyone else. I'm just thankful I have a pretty reliable job right now. So, but here, I have a face mask.
It's my mask. Not too shabby.
There you go. And then social distancing with my neighbor here.
Keeping my social distance from Dwight. 6 feet. Not too shabby.
And then when here, I want to show you one more. See, I'm definitely doing a good job. Here, wait, there's one more pandemic related one. Here it is.
Washing my hands. Not too shabby.
The one with Dwight is a great one, isn't it? The one with Dwight. He's my neighbor. He lives just over in that direction. So Dwight's a good guy. So anyhow, so all right. So I'm trying to just inspire people. Yeah, Wendy, yeah. Wendy, I like what you said there. These moments of laughter and connection are priceless. I really appreciate, seriously, by the way, I have 11 people watching. The most I've ever had in a talk, like a live stream where I'm just talking, I think is like 15 or 17. So it's so amazing. So actually, let me just text Bill. Bill, I am live streaming right now. Join us, ? Smiley face. And let me, Glenda. Glenda, I am live streaming right now. Join us, ? Smiley face. I'm so good at sending. Oh, wait. And then Brandy. Here's Brandy. Brandy, I am live streaming right now. Join us, ? Smiley face. My YouTube channel. Kiss Cactus. So, can I tell another story from biking across America? Let me think. I'm trying to think. What stories can I tell? I should have been a little more organized in my... Because, like, I did a live stream last week, and I told some of the bigger stories. So, here's one. Okay, so chapter 9. Actually, here, I just want to show in my book, chapter 9, I called it Traveler in New Mexico. And turn my... What do you think about this quote? Okay, here's the quote. The quote says, "I've been absolutely terrified all of my life, and have never let it keep me from doing a single thing I wanted to do." That's a quote by Georgia O'Keeffe, who I believe she's passed now, but she was a famous artist in New Mexico, Georgia O'Keeffe. I think a lot of people have heard of her. So, New Mexico, beautiful New Mexico. The thing I'll say just about New Mexico is it's so like, I mean, I live in kind of rural Colorado, and I'm not totally surprised by rural open environments, but I remember biking in New Mexico, And if you look on a map, or if you want to Google Maps, I kind of crossed into New Mexico, and I was in Reserve, New Mexico, which was this tiny town of about 500 people. And it was so crazy because it was the county seat. And there was no cell phone service. There was one motel. There was a cafe. And then it snowed. I remember it was February 14th. And it snowed. And you can read all about it. And then like the next day, so I stayed there an extra day. And look at the fire. Look at the fire. I've done a not too, by the way, let me just show you. I've done a not too shabby of my fire. Let's see. Yeah, my wood burning stove.
It's my wood burning stove. Not too shabby.
That's my neighbor Terry laughing in the background. So anyway. Anyway, I don't know what to say about New Mexico. I just remember it was so empty. And actually, I'll even tell a story of Dave. Dave Ortiz came out. Dave, who lives in Farmington. Dave, here. There's a picture of Dave in my book. He met me in Datil, D-A-T-I-L, New Mexico. Go look it up. He met me down there. And he kind of biked with me for one day. And, he had a truck. So he would drive like 5 miles ahead. And then he'd come back to me. And then he would join me. And then he would do that again. And it was good to have him around. Yeah. No, not Dave Ortiz, Big Pappy. Dave Ortiz in Farmington, New Mexico. And I don't know. I almost feel like I'm sharing too much of the book. But Dave had been hit by a car. He got hit by a car about two and a half years earlier. He was biking around town in Farmington. He got hit. And he was all jacked up. His body, he was in physical therapy. Anyway, so that him riding with me, I kind of almost tell his story a little bit about being a cyclist for many years, getting hit by a car, how he forgave the guy that hit him. And so there's some good, that chapter 9 here. By the way, I'm going to share the link again. I'm such a bad, shameless promoter. But anyway, so chapter 9 talks about New Mexico and the wide open roads and how empty and lonely Dave visiting me, and just New Mexico. My heart, New Mexico is a desolate and like, it's beautiful, and it's so, I understand why someone would hate it as well. It's a special kind of desert down there. It's so empty. You're almost guaranteed to have loneliness, unless you live in Albuquerque or Santa Fe. But outside of Santa Fe, Albuquerque, or maybe Las Cruces, it is just so empty. So it a wasteland. I don't know that I would call it a wasteland, but anyway, so I talk a lot about New Mexico, and and I got mad at this state trooper. I was asking this state trooper for directions. Or actually, I was asking her about whether it was legal to bike on the interstate north of Socorro, New Mexico. She wouldn't give me a straight answer, and I got mad at, I wasn't mad, but I was mad enough that I was like, all right, fine. And anyway, you got to read the whole story of, I biked through Carrizozo. There's some horrible motels, and one was in Carrizozo. And then the next night I was in Roswell, and that was kind of a funny, weird night. And I was afraid of getting my bike stolen. Then I biked to Tatum, New Mexico. Here, it was just like the most empty plains in eastern New Mexico. The picture didn't come out very good at all, but anyway, what are you going to do? Hey, Brandy. Brandy, I'm trying to tell more stories from my Bike Across America trips. And I'm telling deeper. Look at the fire. Isn't that fire is going well? I'm real happy with it. And Brandy, you live in Kansas. I got my Wichita State hoodie here. Wichita State, but then it's too hot, so I'm not wearing it now. Let me see. Any UFO sightings in... I'll answer. Super, you ask a good question. No, I don't have any UFO sightings. But I've never done... Hey, wait. I actually did a long time ago. I'm going to share something related to UFOs. If you go on my little website, coloradoguy.com, I had this article that was like the Onion, see Colorado guy, and it says 3 UFOs sighted in Manitou Springs, Colorado. And here's the first one. See, it's like a saucer. And then here's the second one. It was definitely like a crazy UFO. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then the third one. Here's the third UFO. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that was in Manitou Springs. That was in Manitou Springs. Super, what was my scariest moment? My scariest moment. Nothing. I'm trying to think. What was my scariest moment? There were definitely loose dogs. You know, there were a couple of loose dogs that kind of scared me. Where I was like, "Hey, wait, Brandy, you remember this?" Hold on, I'm gonna. I remember back in the day, people were Googling UFOs in Colorado, and people were finding this article, and they were writing me saying, "Was that really a UFO?" Blah blah blah. And Manitou's already known for a lot of like hippies and marijuana smokers that are kind of, you know, might be a little more gullible to whatever, you know. But anyway, that was just kind of funny. People were writing me. All right. Anyway, to answer your question, what was the most scariest moments biking across America? Loose dogs, potentially losing my wallet, which never really happened. And maybe, I don't know. I never really had a close run-in with a car. Some of my friends have either been hit by cars or they've been clipped. And but I can remember a few times where I was like, ooh, this is a little dodgy. There's no shoulder here, you know? And trucks or like that honk their horn, you know, or just wouldn't be patient, you know? So, Brandy, no, I never had any, let me think, thunderstorms? No, I never had like thunderstorms. Nothing too scary. I mean, I've had scary experiences hiking, you know, with like thunder, hiking down a 14 or Mount Yale. But so, like, I don't know that my fear. Honestly, I'll tell you something. You know what, Super Sailing? That's a very good question. I have an answer. Maybe the most scary time was every morning waking up and being like, is today going to be the day my bike is going to break down? Or am I going to get flats? Am I going to get a whole bunch of flats today? Will I even get one flat? All I need is one flat that I can't fix. You know what I mean? Like, I remember every morning, and then even on my third trip near the end, I still had that dread, like, oh my gosh, what if I get a flat? You know, and something goes wrong, I can't fix it. So if I ran, oh, Bill, that's a great question. If I ran into the guy who stole my bike in Phoenix on trip number 1, what would you say to him? Honestly, I would just ask him. I probably would ask him how he's doing, and did he really need the bike? Like, was he poor? Because I'm kind of concerned for him. Was he a drug dealer? I probably would just ask as a friend and just see how he's doing. You know, and if he needed money, maybe I'd give him money. Bill Rogan, I think while you were gone, I told the whole story of my stolen bike while you were gone. So I didn't invite you in time. So I told that whole story. But honestly, I probably would just try to be friendly with them. And I actually probably might just ask him, what'd you do to the, like, where's the bike now? How long did you have it? You know? And there was a derailleur that was put on it in Blythe, California, that I'm not sure how long it was going to last. You know? And anyway, it would have been interesting. So, well, Brandy, it's been 12 years. It's been 12 years. And you know what? I'm not perfect either. I've done bad things in my life. So, you know, I don't know. You know, but I will say, even with all this time, it was probably meant to be that I got a new bike. That old bike was kind of old, and it was meant to be that I probably got that new bike, which is, by the way, right over there. See the bike? So I don't know. I'm not. Hey, play with color. Hey, yeah. So, anyway, look, I'm not that great of a guy. I have a temper, and I have a New Jersey temper, and it's coming out a lot in my 40s, upper 40s. So I don't know what to say. But seriously, that's a great question, Bill Rogan. Seriously, it's all right. I mean, honestly, the guy who probably stole my bike was probably involved in drugs and in crime. And to be honest, it's a pretty sad life. And, so self-aware. Hey, play with color. Are you how did you find my Not Too Shabby videos? Are you a Funhouse person too? Usually when I do these live streams, I play Not Too Shabbies kind of intermittently, So like, here's Riverside, California. And as you can see, it's like a very bold thumbnail. So here it is.
It's Riverside, California. Not too shabby.
Oh, I love that one. I really love that one. So that's a good one. How about a foofy women's clothing store?
It's a foofy women's clothing store. Not too shabby.
Bill Rogan, ask another great question. Bill, what's one of the most underrated parts of my book? Give me or like a story. What's a story? You know what I mean? I mean, East Texas. I remember the East Texas chapter. And, actually I remember I was meeting, oh, that's right. I biked from Graham, Texas to to where did I to like Texarkana. So Play. This is your first live stream with me because I'm always telling stories about Not Too Shabby. All right, okay, Play. All right, let's do this. Play. What's your favorite Not Too Shabby, and then I'll tell you the story behind it. Okay, tell me your favorite Not Too Shabby. So, because like usually my live streams, I just play them and I'm always talking about them. So I'm trying to do something different where I'm trying to be inspiring. I'm trying to encourage people, you know. So, Brandy, the piece of garbage ones are here. I'm glad you brought that up. Piece of garbage. The greatest piece of garbage video is with Sarah and her brother and I think it was a family friend. And I was up in Boise, Idaho, and I made this video.
Piece of garbage! You piece of garbage? You piece of garbage! Piece of garbage!
Ha 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 ha! Yeah, Bill. I do. I remember, like, yeah, in this book, I have a whole chapter just dedicated to, like, I'm telling the story. I mean, I had days off. It wasn't that dramatic, but I'm in the middle of Mississippi. And I remember I had a kind of a dramatic day where, okay, I had 4 flat tires in my first day in Mississippi. And I was so worried about like flats and what the heck is going on. And then the next day it was pretty cold and I biked 30 miles. It was cold. I shouldn't even have been riding. It was a really cold day for Mississippi. But I went 30 miles and the road got better and smoother and it wasn't as crazy. It wasn't as difficult to ride. And I thought, okay, relief. And I got to Winona, Mississippi. And that was exactly, Charles visited me. He lived in a suburb of Memphis, and he drove straight south about 2.5 hours, picked me up and brought me back to Memphis, Collierville, Tennessee. And anyway, yeah, that was a great one. And Charles, you know what? I will say this. To this day, Charles keeps in touch. We keep in touch. A few times a year, I'll talk to him. Charles's son, who's now a teenager, he's in my fantasy football league. And so that's pretty cool. So, yeah, it's a great – and then, like, yeah, we hung out in the Memphis area. We went to the Civil Rights Museum, and we got barbecue. And I don't know, we went to the Mississippi River. We just had fun. It was a good day. Man, I gotta bike across America 4 times. I just don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I tried to go a 4th time in 2019 and I quit. 2020, I was open to going, and then there were other things that the door closed, and then the pandemic happened, and it's totally out. And I don't know. I just don't know for 2021. So, all right. So, the pink and purple flowers blooper. Oh, Play. All right. Let's do that one. The blooper. Blooper kiss cactus. All right, here it is. I remember this one. This was in front of Tumbleweed Coffee in Westcliff. It says 10 months ago. So it was roughly June of 2019. And Tumbleweed Coffee is like 4 blocks that way. 1, 2, 3 or 4 blocks that way. I live in a really tiny town. And anyway, I was hanging out and I remember just thinking, I think it was like one of those days where I was like, all right, I got to just like loosen up and just force myself to make some Not Too Shabbies. And I already made 1 or 2. And then I made this one. And I'll just let it speak for itself.
It's pink and purple flowers. Not too sure.
Ha 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 ha. Play. say, go to Tumbleweed Coffee in the summer. Go to Tumbleweed Coffee when it gets warmer. Okay. And wait, and so that's the blooper. Now let me see if I can find the actual Not Too Shabby. Because I think I did do another. I did a second take. Here is the actual Not Too Shabby. Here.
It's pink and purple flowers. Not too shabby.
Ha 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 ha! Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Yeah. So, Jessica, what's the most interesting town or city I've biked to? What's the most interesting? I like boring. I like weird. I don't know. Salem, Arizona, in western Arizona. I love how simple and small the town is. And there's saguaros, and there's like 2 motels, and there's a restaurant, like a cafe across the street. And it just feels like such a simple place to live if you just want to live a quiet life in the desert. And it felt like it's just one of those towns where in the like in the 1940s or 1950s, it was a happening town. And then everyone abandoned the town when the interstate came through, and nobody drives through the town anymore. So it's kind of quiet. So anyway, so that's one town. I really liked El Paso, Texas. Like, I think El Paso is a really underrated city. And on my 3rd trip, I biked through El Paso. So there's El Paso. Haskell, Texas. Actually, it was kind of a really boring Texas town. And I think only the Dairy Queen was open on Sunday. But, they have the Sabbath laws. But I still have good memories of Haskell, Texas. And, yeah. No, Brandy, Route 66 goes across northern Arizona. Route 66 kind of goes along Interstate 40. It goes through like Flagstaff up there. So that's a great question. I love these questions we're getting. You're giving me here. I still want Bill Rogan to ask me another question. He's really good at. And Super, you asked a good question about fear and all that. But good times, man. I'm kind of a small town guy. Just give me a small town with a motel and a restaurant next door. You know what I mean? And I'm happy. That's all I need. I don't need a lot. Let me walk around. Maybe there's a park nearby. Yeah, no, Brandy, yeah. For my trip, Salem, if you look up Salem, Arizona, it's west of Phoenix by about 80 miles. And it's kind of off the beaten path. So, yeah. And by the way, if you do read my book, I have a chapter kind of about that town of Salem where it's called Stop and Smell the Sagebrush. Stop and Smell the Sagebrush. And I talk about my time in Western Arizona. So, Bear Paws, have I fixed my car? No, I have not. Here, I'm going to play the Not Too Shabby of the broken part of my car. It still looks like that. Here, it still looks like this. Okay, plastic part broken off front car.
It's the front plastic part of my car that's no longer there. Not too shabby.
Who was the strangest person you encountered biking across America? Let me think. I'm trying. I'm like one. I'm thinking of one person, two people, three people, four people that I sharply remember. But then none of them were really strange. They were all kind of normal. I did meet one guy on a bike where I think I don't know if he was biking across America, but he's biking in the wrong, like he was on the left side of the road. He was coming at me. I'm on the right side of the road and he was coming at me, like going against traffic, and he was playing music. And I think he was saying he was biking across America, but I was near the end. So I met him in Georgia. And it was just weird. I was like, he started talking to me. Oh, no. I got another guy. The strangest guy. He was actually sort of walking across America. He was walking here. I wonder what happened to him. I was biking. It was day 19. Bill Rogan, you asked a great question. Day 19. I was biking from El Paso to Salt Flat, Texas, February 27, 2017. So I'm biking, and there's this guy on the side of the road in the desert pushing a cart, a really heavy cart. And he had his dog, and he was camping every night. And he would only go 10 or 20 miles. I think he was saying, and like he said, like he was in Dallas. He's from Texas, and he walked from Dallas to California, and then he went up Northern California, and now he was sort of walking back, and he was in West Texas. He was outside of El Paso, and he was this guy, and I remember talking to him, and it was just one of those conversations where once I started to engage with him, I realized he was pretty crazy. He was definitely, you know what I mean? And he was like over talking and rambling, and he talked too much. And I was like, okay, I got to get back on my bike and ride. So I was, somehow I got out of the conversation. I just said, well, I got to go. See ya. But I did get a picture of him, and he was an interesting guy. So he was definitely the strange. I hope, but I don't want to say. If this gentleman is watching, I don't criticize him. He was strange. But I really hope he's doing well. And he had his dog, and he was like saying, "Yeah, I'll just go in the desert and camp, and I've got enough food, and blah blah blah." And I think I remember like that cart was so heavy. So, yeah. Ha ha ha. There you go, Bill Rogan. Besides you, of course. There you go. Ha 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 ha. I'll tell you another little story, though. There was a guy. So this was on this third trip. Let me see here. Wait, come on, phone. On this third trip. Here, I just got to type the whole thing in again. I met a guy who was German. I was biking day 14. And I just crossed into New Mexico and on my way east. And I still had a long way to go. He had started in Miami, Florida, I believe. Somewhere in Florida, I think Miami. He was biking to Los Angeles. He was German. I think he was like 21. He was like, yeah, it's my first time to America, and I love it. It's like, he just loved it. And so we had a really good talk on the side of the road. And I gave him my phone number. He was a pretty smart guy. I was just like, if anyone tries to rip you off in American culture, you let me know, because, I can tell you, that kind of thing. So anyway, I got a second picture with him. I put my phone my camera on the ground. And so there you go. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So good memories. On my second trip. By the way, Brandy, no, I'm not interested in biking Route 66. I want to do my own trip, my own route. So, but a lot of people have done that too, the old Route 66. I mean, it's not bad. On my second trip in 2011, I was biking. I was just outside Salome, Arizona, and I met Ultra John, he was kind of running across America. Now, what I've learned is for people who kind of walk/run across America, it's common to have like a little baby cart that you push in front of you, and you keep everything inside the cart. It looks a little funny because it looks like you're pushing a baby or a baby stroller, but it really is probably the best way because you just push that and run or walk. And he would run, he had a blog where he was saying he was going about 20, 25 miles a day. Sometimes he'd go 30, and, he would run a good part, and then he'd walk if he felt, and he would camp. And I remember him telling me the story about how, now he had started in California as well, just like me on this trip. So I caught up to him. He said somebody called and he was headed to Virginia. He said somebody called the police, and the police, approached him on the road and just said, "Hey, we just want to make sure you don't have a baby in there," So I guess that would be considered child abuse. So anyway, but he had a blog, and from this point, this was day 5 for me, and it took me another 6 weeks or so to bike to Georgia. I biked to St. Simon's Island, and he had a daily blog. And when I finished, I started following his blog, and he was in, I think, Missouri. He was somewhere in the middle part of the country, and it took him another month or two to go from Missouri to Virginia. But I followed his whole trip after that, and that was pretty cool. And I'm guessing, let's see if his blog is still up. Let's see if it's still up. His blog is still up. He's doing some kind of 2019. Let's see, wait. Yeah. Anyway, so here is his, and by the way, so he took a picture of me on his blog from that trip, and he was like, he just put cross-country bicyclist. He didn't say much about me. He was like, I was just a little, I was an afterthought to him, Oh yeah, here's a guy biking across America. But look, there's me. That was 2011. So good memories, man. Good memories. Really good memories. Really good. That's cool, man. I'm glad we're talking about this. It's kind of fun. This is good therapy for me. I was in Arkansas, El Dorado, Arkansas, far southern Arkansas. Biking across Arkansas, headed to the Atlantic Ocean. And this woman, I forgot her name, but she did my hair. And I remember she was like, yeah, me and my boyfriend, we get on our bikes and we ride our bikes, And then she really meant a motorcycle. And I was like, oh, no. I'm talking about, I'm riding a bicycle. I have a bicycle. I'm staying at the motel. I'm going to be biking, to the next town. And she was stunned. So, but there's my hair. So, wind mechanic. Yeah. That's right. I took Highway 82 across southern Arkansas. I went through Magnolia, let's see, where did I go through? Texarkana. Part of Texarkana is in Arkansas. Then Magnolia. Then I biked to El Dorado. Then I biked all day from El Dorado to Lake Village. There were a couple of towns in between there. I got good memories, man. Lake Village is right on the river. And then I biked over the Mississippi River into Mississippi. Oh, thank you, Brandy. Yeah, that's right. Lake Village. Yeah. Good memories, man. Good memories. Good memories. You got one distant relative in Lake Village. I was friends with Kelly. With Twitter was so social back in the day. And I remember I made friends with Raymond, who grew up in Stamps. Raymond, I still think he might even be, I'm still Facebook friends with him. Raymond. He's the gay black guy who now lives in Fayetteville. Let's see. Raymond. Hold on. I just got to do this. Raymond, comma, this is Steve Garufi, period. I just thought of you. I was wondering about how you're doing. Period. Your friend, comma, Steve. So there's Raymond. With Twitter, I used to make friends with people, and like, especially in towns where I like, like I remember I tried to make friends in Arkansas for a while because I was a Hogs fan. And then I was biking through Arkansas on my trip. And I thought, well, I might as well just try to make some friends in Arkansas. And just sort of naturally, organically, I'd make friends here and there. And people would host me or help me. Twitter used to be like that, where you could find people in areas, or it was just a little different 10 years ago. Stamps. Yeah, remember Stamps? Wind mechanic. What's funny was I biked across on Highway 82 in southern Arkansas, and that's definitely like deep south. Southern Arkansas is the deep south. It's very much like northern Louisiana, the mindset. And then in 2010, I just went on a road trip and I forgot who I visited, a whole bunch of people, but the point was to, I went back on Highway 82 by car because for my book, I'd forgotten too much about the highway and some of the scenery and some of the roads. And so I actually drove and I took notes. I took a whole bunch of more notes driving through Arkansas and then over the bridge and then into Mississippi. And so like I spent like pretty much, a half a day to a day just taking notes, looking at the road, remembering where this was. So if for my book, sometimes people were like, I can't believe your memory. Like you're so detailed about stuff. And, part of the secret was I went back 2 years later and wrote everything down. So anyway, good memories. I have good memories. Arkansas, good old Arkansas, you guys. So Bill Rogan, were there a couple of young guys at a convenience store that flipped out? Yeah, that was in Alabama. I don't think I have did I put a picture? Let's see, where is it here? I don't know that I didn't put them here. Wait. I was in here. I'm going to look it up. Somewhere in southeast Alabama. And I'd started the day in Montgomery. And I biked to Eufaula. I think I biked like 80, 90 miles, which is just crazy. Like, I don't know that I could bike that far. Wait, I got a picture of him. I biked 87 miles. And yeah, let's see. Midway, Alabama. Here they are. They're young guys. I think I was like the only white person. You know, I was the only white person. It's like rural Alabama. And I remember I biked up there, and it's in my book, by the way. You can read all about it in my book, okay? But like I rolled up there, and I remember like this guy, the guy on the left, he was just standing there, just kind of bored. Like he was in this, you know, he's in a boring town. And I roll up there, and I'm like, you know, I guess I was shy or whatever. He was looking at me, I think, or, you know, and then these two other guys, like, and then we just started talking, and they couldn't believe, they're stunned. I told them I started in San Diego, California. I'm in Alabama. And like, it is cool in like the middle part of the country, in like rural, you know, the country, places where, you know, it's just a little more country. People would be stunned that my bike, I just show up, walk in a convenience store, and I'd be like, yeah, this is day 34. I started in California. Now I'm in Louisiana, you know, and I'm headed to Florida. You know, like, it was so cool. And sometimes in convenience stores, the people who work behind the counter are kind of like, they're just young people in their early 20s. You know, they're really bored. They're just sitting in this convenience store bored. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, maybe they just don't get a lot of stimulus, you know, because I'm like, yeah, you got to go do it. You know, go follow your dreams, go travel. You go bike across America. So anyway, talking about it gets me all excited. I want to bike across America again. But so anyway, so that's just a good story, a good memory. In Alabama. So, and then I remember there were these three guys, and then there were like a couple of vehicles pulled up. One was pumping gas, and one guy asked me if I wanted to ride, because I think it was still about 15, 20 miles to Eufaula. And anyway, so just this really sweet memory. Now get out of here. By the way, I just got a text from Raymond. Raymond, he says, I am back near Highway 82. I fled Fayetteville this morning. So I guess Raymond is like quarantining. So Raymond, I am doing a live stream on YouTube, and I'm reflecting upon Bike Across America stories in my life, period. And I thought of you, exclamation point. I am still live streaming right now. I will give you the address. Let's see if Raymond comes in here. www.youtube. This is a cool memory. Raymond. And then Raymond, we became friends on YouTube, on Twitter. He put me up one night and fed me breakfast. He's a good guy. He's crazy. Oh, last thing. /kiss cactus. No. Wait, one more time. /kiss cactus. Bing. Like that. All right. And we'll see if Raymond shows up. Raymond grew up in rural Arkansas, though. He's a Southern boy. So, all right. So, Brandy, what type of training did you do to prepare? Brandy, I hate to say it, but I didn't do a lot of training. For my first two trips, I was younger and in better shape. So all I was doing was like working out at the gym, because I usually start my trips in February, and it's too cold. So anyway, so usually it was just gym workouts, trying to just get into reasonable cardio shape. But clearly, when you're riding a bike, you use different muscles. So for my third trip, I tried to ride a little bit. This is only 3 years ago, 2017. And I paid for it because I was out of shape and my body was in a little bit of shock. And it probably had to do with why I quit in 2019, was I wasn't able to train. So anyway, the training is a good issue. Ideally, if I ever bike across America again, I just want to live in Arizona where I'm training all winter. You know, the weather's good. And then it's not that much of a bridge to just start biking every day, you know. Yeah, I know, Brandy. Well, Brandy, it's rare to do. Most of my 100-mile trips have been during my Bike Across America trip. I think I've only done one century ride. That's when I biked from Buena Vista to the Great Sand Dunes. So that was it was 100 miles. So that was I got pictures of that. So that's cool. I'm so glad. Raymond in Stamps, Arkansas, he says very spotty reception down here. So he can't join my live stream, but that's still pretty cool. Pretty neat. Yeah, Brandy. Good memories, man. Man, this is good. Bill Rogan, ask more questions. Come on. Who's still here, by the way? That's super. What was that guy's name? He's probably gone. The German guy's probably gone. Play with color. Are you there? It's okay. Where's the Super Sailing? Super Sailing. He asked a good question. Oh, you know what? Here's something that's funny. In my book, I do mention on the last day, the final day, all right? And I have a chapter dedicated to that. I remember I was so happy. I was sad. You know, there's lots of emotions. You're getting near the end. You're in the absolute best shape that you'll ever be in for your life. Pretty amazing. And I thought about the Tour de France and some of those professional cyclists. Sometimes they'll have a glass of champagne as they're riding. They'll hold the champagne, you know, because they're so nonchalant. And like in my book, I pretty much said I wanted to find a Dunkin' Donuts and have a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, you know, sipping on, you know, my favorite, which is a blueberry flavored coffee. But then I couldn't find a Dunkin' Donuts. And a friend recently brought that up. And he said, hey, we got to go ride and then we'll drink Dunkin' Donuts. So he reminded me, because I don't read my book. I have not opened up this book and read it. So, you know, but anyway, that's just a fun little story. Bill, what is the one essential thing you need to take on a bike trip across the USA? And what was the most useless thing you took? All right, now I could just say, well, a bike, duh. But outside of a bike, what's the most essential thing? Well, I mean, the whole point, Phil, is you can only bring essentials. Everything you bring is essential, and anything non-essential you don't bring. You bring your wallet, your ability to pay and have money. You bring your phone in case you need help. You have to have your phone. Your camera. I still think your camera, you know, most people use their phone as their camera, but you gotta, like, it's essential. You have to record everything you do. That's the thing. Like, what you do bring is you only bring essentials. You bring your toothpaste, your deodorant, your, like your basics with that, your dental floss, your shampoo, but you got to bring a travel size one. You bring just whatever essential spare clothes you need, and that's it. So pretty much everything is essential. What's the only non-essential thing? I mean, there's not much. There really isn't much. I remember on my third trip, I had my third layer. It was sort of like a thick, this is black, but it was a thick yellow layer, and it was kind of woolly. It wasn't woolly, but it was kind of a warm polyester type pullover. And I took it and I threw it out because it was too heavy. And I was like, I don't need this. I'm already in southern Mississippi. Every day is in the 70s, or like it was already spring down there. There was no need for it. And I didn't want to carry it for a couple of weeks. I didn't want to mail it back. I kind of regret throwing it out, but I threw it in the garbage. I was like, unload this, So I did bring a rock. I guess this is non-essential, but it was kind of fun. I found just this rock. It really wasn't that big. It was like, it just fit in my hand. And I picked it up at the beach in San Diego. And then I biked all the way to Florida. And then I did a video where I took the rock and I said, okay, I'm going to put it in the Atlantic Ocean. And I threw it in there. And that was kind of fun. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good talk. Here, I'm gonna find that video. Here. There is the rock. It's 1 minute and 5 seconds. It's called Tossing the Rock. Here.
All right, this rock. It doesn't weigh too much, but it's not light either. I've carried this all the way from San Diego on my bike. And now I'm at a beach in Florida, the Atlantic Ocean. Should I just throw it in there really far? Yeah, why not? All right, here it is. I'm gonna throw it right now.
Ha ha ha!
There you go. I don't have any poetic words.
I don't have any poetic words, I said. Bear paws. I think on my first trip I had 11 flats. On my second trip I had 9 flats. And on my third trip I had two flats. Yeah. Brandy, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, Brandy. Take care of yourself. I think I'm gonna wrap up here. It's almost 9 o'clock, and I'm gonna go to sleep here. But I hope it's okay to wrap up. Thank you for watching, and I've been talking a lot about biking across America. And there's my book. I'll put the Amazon link in the title. There's my bike. It's a good bike, man. We'll see if I ever go again. But I've gone 3 times, and that's great. They're almost like winning Super Bowls. Sometimes, like, you want to win it, but you can't. Your team has to be good enough, that kind of a thing. And I've done it 3 times, and that's something to be proud of. And we'll see if I ever go again. But yeah, hey, good night, everybody. Really. Signing off. Yeah, thank you, Wind Mechanic. Thank you for reading my book. I appreciate it. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm going to sign off here. Thank you for watching. And we got the fire. It's still really warm, but the fire. I'm going to throw another block of wood in there. But all right, take care, everyone. So long, and hang in there, everyone. Okay, bye, Parapaws and Bill and Wind Mechanic and anyone else. There's still 8 people watching, and I feel bad, but I got to go to bed. Signing off from Colorado. All right. Till next time. Bye.